Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's live. Today, I want to give you a tour of all things the GiRLiFE Academy, which is kind of what congregates us all in this community, right? So, we are all a part of the Business of Empowering Girls group. I'm so curious for those of you who are joining us live or even watching on the replay, what brought you to this Facebook page? How did you find us? What spoke to you that got you so interested in showing up for these messages? I know that we all come from a different set of lenses, different perspectives, different backgrounds, and there are different reasons why each of us have joined, because most of us want to make a difference, right? Like if we're on this planet, we are here because we have it on our hearts, whether we realize it or not, to, in our own unique way, shake up the world, right? What's that famous quote? And that's why I'm here with you today. My name is Melody Pourmoradi. I'm a girls empowerment advocate. I'm the author of 2 books, and podcaster of the Empowering Her podcast. And it has really been my greatest honor and joy to lead this movement of GiRLiFE and the GiRLiFE Academy and the coaches who are a part of our program. And I really wonder, who were we before the world told us who we should be? Like, who is it that we had imagined we would be before, as girls, it's so frequent and so often happening without our permission or without us even knowing, where we are told who to be, how to behave, how to dress, how to feel, what careers we should go into. And there were so many shoulds. We were being should on, as I often say, and it leaves very little room for us to actually explore the truth of who we really are, because we're so already wrapped up in who the world wants us to be. And maybe this is a question that you can answer for yourself. Who were you before the world told you who you should be? And I think that for us women, so often there is an unbecoming, right? There is an unlearning that takes place at a certain point in our lives when we're just like, well, I'm done. Like, I can't take this anymore. There's no more, you know, looking outside of myself to inform who I am on the inside. There's no more doing things just to keep everybody else happy. There's no more walking into a room and needing to check the temperature of everyone around me to make sure everybody else is okay so that I can be okay. Is any of this sounding familiar? There is a quote that I read once. It's like something along the lines of, as women, we're always setting ourselves on fire to keep others warm. And how sad and tragic is that, to set ourselves on fire to keep others warm? Now, I'm not trying to create a bleak perspective. I'm really just saying what is, but I'm also here to paint a brighter picture for all of us, because together, when we link arms, when we decide that it gets to be different just because it does, because it's time, then that can actually happen for all of us. And that is really, really what brings us here today. Now, there is a statistic that we have been talking about in this GiRLiFE community for years. The statistic was, and I say it was that a girl's self-confidence peaks at age 9, right? You've all heard me talk about this. We've done a campaign to redefine 9, to bring other women in to our mission and say, well, how do we redefine the age of 9? It can't be so that a girl's confidence only peaks at age 9, right? Like, meaning that it doesn't rise anymore, but only declines, plateaus and declines. Well, sadly, one of our GiRLiFE coaches brought it to my attention recently that she checked the statistic again, and the statistic has changed, and it hasn't changed in our favor. It is now that a girl's self-confidence peaks at age 8. At age 8. And it breaks my heart open and makes me wonder what's going to happen next year and the year after. And so if there's ever been a time for us to step into our own power and lead the way for our girls, it is now, because I cannot and I will not tolerate this age declining any more than this. I feel like the day that our coach told me this and I went in and I started doing my own research, it was just like, the deeper you go into the research, the more you're like, wow, like this need is getting greater and greater and greater. And there are all these statistics about eating disorders and mental illness, depression, anxiety orders, suicidal behavior for girls. I'm not even going to read you the statistics because I don't want to go there. I want us in this time that we get to spend together to talk about being the change that we want to see in our girls. I want us to talk about doing more to help them and to guide them so that they can push through all of their own glass ceilings because they deserve to, because each and every young girl comes into this world with so many gifts. We all come into this world with so many gifts, and we don't even know half of the gifts that we come into this world with. But we need to have the opportunity to uncover those gifts for ourselves and for the world, because when we shine bright, when we step into our true power, everybody wins, especially as women. Do you ever notice with women how it's like, when we've got something to share, we're always like, someone will say to me, I love your sweater, Mel. I'll be like, oh my goodness, I got it at XYZ store. You need to get it. It's on sale right now, right? Or if somebody says, where's the best place to go for XYZ? You're like, oh my God, I have, I'm going to send you a list. And that's also true for some of the bigger, more deeper callings of our heart. And when women have information to share, they enlighten the world, they empower the world. And I believe that this is the kind of information that we as women need to be sharing, right? We don't need to be hiding it. There's nothing to hide here. It's everything. It's everything for us and everything for everyone else when we share. So I ask you again what I asked at the beginning of this live. Who were you before the world told you who to be? And if you'd like to answer for those of us who are here live, I am so interested in hearing your thoughts. Emily, another one of our beautiful coaches, is saying sometimes it takes someone else's positive observation of you to help you understand what your gifts are. That is why we are here. 100%. That's why we as women, right? Like, we get to be the wings for these girls until they learn how to fly, until they grow their own wings. Hi, Kara. Hi, Haley. Hi, Emily. So lovely to have you all here. Who were you before the world told you who to be? Contemplate that. Sit with it today. Sit with it tonight. And I want us to be the girl that we promised ourselves to be. I want us to remember who she was, and I want us to step into one version of her, one iteration of her, knowing that that will evolve when we just take the first step. It's a co-creative process with the universe. And when we say yes to ourselves, invisible doors will open. Now, I'm a 45-year-old woman, and while I'm constantly growing and evolving in my own ways, and that is my birthright, I am finally the girl that I promised myself to be. I am finally that girl. The girl that I used to be, the girl that when I was growing up, I stunted my own growth in so many ways. I had such an outside-in approach to my life. I allowed other people to determine my worth and my value. I never entered a relationship, a friendship, as my truest, most authentic self because I didn't even really know who she was. I wasn't in touch with my intuition yet. I just wasn't. So I never tried anything new, right? I never tried anything new for fear of failure. So I was on this quest for perfection, like I'm sure so many of you have been or are. And I didn't know that perfection doesn't exist. I didn't know that it's my quirks that make people love me. I didn't know that it's my thoughts, my fingerprint on the world that is my greatest gift to give. Finally, after years and years of doing the inner work and stepping into this world as a girl's empowerment advocate, the first thing I had to do was heal myself. The first thing I had to do was actually find myself. And that's what I've done. And so when I say I have finally become the girl that I promised myself to be, what I mean is I'm finally keeping my promises to myself. I'm finally taking an inside out approach to the world, not letting the world tell me who I am, but instead showing up as my whole self, imperfections and all, and saying, I'm here, use me, use me, use me. I'm here to be used. Good morning, Annette. Welcome, welcome. You've joined the conversation at a perfect time. I asked the beautiful women in this group, who were you before the world told you who to be? And one of the responses is, nope, this is a response to a different question, but I'm so here. Emily says, this is the goal. I wanted to get back to the free, spirited, confident, creative, motivated, and independent girl. And you are so her. Yeah, it is so great to have you all as a part of this community. So we've talked a little bit about what holds us all back as girls, what held us back, and then how that translates into womanhood, where perhaps we're stepping into work in the world that doesn't bring us joy. Perhaps we're walking into a job that we detest, but we're doing it to put food on the table and pay the bills. Perhaps we're entering into relationships where we settle because we feel like that's the best that we can do, right? Perhaps we're dimming our voice and dulling our light because we feel like maybe the world doesn't want to hear what we have to say. We don't want people to hear what's on our hearts. And I have to tell you all that this is the stuff that breaks my heart, right? And they so often say, create your mission or create your business out of the thing that breaks your heart open. And that's what I've done with GiRLiFE. Like, this is what breaks my heart open. This is why I am here, because this epidemic of girls not stepping into their power breaks my heart open. And the girl that I was breaks my heart open. And these statistics that we've discussed about a girl's self-confidence now peaking at the age of 8 breaks my heart open. If it breaks your heart open, let me know. Type a 1 in the chats and let me know that you are with me. Kara is saying, I was told you aren't smart enough, pretty enough, good enough. And it's like, those words are potent, Kara, right? Like, they're so potent when somebody comes and tells us about us. Who are they to be the informant of our lives, to tell us who we are and who we aren't? And you know, this is where we get to change that narrative. This right here, right now, we all get to claim it for ourselves. Annette is saying, being myself without other options. Oh, what a beautiful thing it would be to be ourselves and not have to wonder if we're enough, right? If we're worthy. And I'm here to tell you, you are worthy simply because you are. It has nothing to do with anything you've done or said or worn. It's all about being worthy simply because you are. I am worthy simply because I am. What a powerful, powerful statement. So, as I mentioned, we create our missions out of what breaks our hearts open. And so I decided that I wanted to be a voice for change. I decided that we are not going to allow girls to dim their light for a moment longer. And I decided that the next generation of women is going to be stronger and prouder and more courageous as a result of the work that they do as girls. And that's really how my business, the GiRLiFE Academy, found its wings, how it took form. In 2016, I made a decision. It was actually in 2015, I made a decision to bring girls into my home, literally like into this space, and start running empowerment workshops and to teach them that they have so many superpowers and that they have access to those superpowers in every moment. I wanted them to know that there is an inner toolkit that lives inside of them, that they can literally pick which tool they need in every moment of every day, depending on what challenge they might be experiencing, what victory they might be celebrating, but that toolkit was always there for them, supporting them, guiding them, loving them into life. And that first workshop was just so epic. We had 22 girls in our workshop simply because I took what broke my heart. I put it into words. I put it in a Facebook post and I put it out to my community. And 2 weeks later, I had 22 girls in my first girls empowerment workshop, and we were making history. I didn't know it in that time. I knew that what we created was something special, but I don't think I knew the magnitude of what it would grow to be as these girls gain their superpowers, as these girls claim their worth. And every week after that, we would do another workshop on self-love, on intuition and finding your voice, on meditation, on creative goal setting, on being responsible for the world you see, on using your words to create the world that you wished existed. And it was the most beautiful movement that started right here in my own community, where the parents were always like, wow, where has this been? This is the thing we needed that we never knew that we needed. Thank you for creating this melody. And then I had my coaching circles who would see the work that I was doing on social media, and they would say, Melody, how can we become a part of your movement? Melody, how can we also become girls empowerment coaches? And I really had to sit with that information. I was like, well, people are asking for something, and this is what breaks my heart open. And this is how I find meaning and how I am doing my part, in my own unique way, in my own gentle way, shaking up the world. And that's when I decided to take this movement of girl life, what I was doing right here in my own home with those 22 girls, and turn it into a global movement. How did I do that? How did I do that? Well, I'm going to tell you. I had a lot of gremlins speaking to me saying, who are you, Melody, to do this work? You're not going to get it right. You're never going to be perfect. And I needed to literally speak to those gremlins. I needed to speak to those fears, because if I were actually going out there to help empower girls and bring empowerment to them and deliver it to them, then how dare I make these accusations of myself and say that I'm not good enough or I'm not perfect enough. So it's what I needed to first work through for my 8-year-old self, this little version of me. And for those of you who are listening on the podcast, I'm holding up a picture of myself when I was a young girl, and I needed to unlearn and relearn all the layers of fear and shame and guilt and doubt that had been placed upon me, that I unwillingly accepted. I never knew it, but I unwillingly accepted it. And so in my womanhood, I finally put a stake in the ground and said, no more. I finally unlearned it all. I finally became the woman I promised myself to be as a young girl. I finally kept those promises to myself. And I created a whole platform that today is called the GiRLiFE Academy, where I literally give my tools to success in the girl life world. I give 17 workshops, all the workshops that I have taught throughout the years in our community. They're tried, tested, and true, successful with beautiful results from the girls in our communities. And I've also put the business training in there because, so often we're given the thing, right? The thing that we're here to teach. So I'm 100% in the GiRLiFE Academy. I'm teaching you to teach, right? Like that's what I'm here to do. But I'm also teaching you how to run a business, because at the end of the day, when we become a girls empowerment coach, which is what the GiRLiFE Academy does, it certifies you to become a girls empowerment coach. We don't necessarily know how to monetize that, how to earn for our heart-centered work, how to fill up our workshops, how to deliver value, and how to earn for the value that we deliver. Because at the end of the day, sales is simply a transfer of inspiration, right? It's an energetic exchange where something of value is being exchanged for another thing of value, which is our money, right? And so I teach you how to step into the mindset of earning for this valuable work without guilt, right? So often as women, we feel badly about asking to be paid for this work. And it's like there's so many industries in the world where they're charging money for things that are literally decreasing the value of someone's life, right? Like Think about cigarettes and alcohol and sugar, like just the sugar, like the industry that makes it okay for sugar to be something that is in our children's food, that is placed in the supermarket right at their eye level, where their parents have no choice but to buy it for them, because when those kids are sitting in the cart or walking through the aisles, it's the first thing they see. What I ask is, how is that okay? Yes, Haley, and dyes. How is it okay to falsely market poison, literally, to our children, but for us to be apologetic about trying to earn by bringing girls empowerment workshops to the forefront of, our communities? None of that. I'm not down for it anymore. If you're not down for it anymore, tell me so in the chats, because together we get to make a change here. Together we get to, change the narrative that has so often plagued us. And that's my daughter walking in right now into the house. Hi, Noah. Today's a short day because she has her junior prom. So anyways, we are here to do it together. Thank you, Emily and Haley and Kara. I'm hearing your voices, and I know that you are so here for this message. And we in the Academy really discuss that mindset, because one of the biggest things I've seen is women coming into the program and then saying to themselves, yeah, but like, I don't, I'm not perfect, or I can't charge for this work, or experiencing imposter syndrome, as so many of us do, right? So many of us experience this. And so everything, my promise to you is that my whole heart is in the GiRLiFE Academy, where I will show you the way. I will take your hand and show you the way. And so will the coaches in the community. We have so many of them on the line here, which it always fills my heart with such joy that you all come out to these events, right? Like, you come because you want to, because you choose to, because you love our community. And the truth is that you women, in the community, are what makes this program, is what lights it up, is what makes it successful. And running it in your own unique way has been the greatest joy of my life to witness. It's so wonderful every morning when I open up my Instagram or my Facebook and I see our coaches out there putting out their flyers, putting out their hearts and saying, this is what I'm doing. I'm running a workshop. Today we're talking all about intuition and bring your daughter, and they're putting their offers out there, and they're filling up their workshops, and they're making magic, and they're changing the world. That's what we're here to do. We're here to change the world, to transform lives. And it's really, there's no greater feeling than that. And, I invite you all to stop waiting for someone to choose you, right? We so often in life, we are waiting for someone to choose us, whether, it's in a relationship, or we're waiting for someone to give us a job interview and accept us into a certain role. And I want to invite you today and every day to choose yourself, to find a way to choose yourself, to not wait for somebody else to give you that permission slip and say, you are now able to do X, Y, Z. I want you to choose yourself. When I wrote my books, I chose myself. I wasn't going to sit and wait for a publishing company to come and choose me and to say that your book is good enough and we will publish it. I did it. I self-published my books because I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to wait to be chosen. We all get this beautiful, unique opportunity in every moment to find a way to choose ourselves. And the most beautiful thing happens when we start to choose ourselves is that the world starts to notice our mission. And not that it even matters. It doesn't matter because we are so deeply basking in the joy of having chosen ourselves and not needing, again, that outside in approach of outer validation and other people deciding that we are worthy because of something we've done or unworthy because of something we haven't done. I said it before and I'll say it again. You are worthy simply because you are. Simply because you are. So in the GiRLiFE Academy, we really, we give you every tool that you need to take this movement off of the ground and do it with joy and passion and allow your heart to lead the way. So I've talked about our amazing community of coaches. It's an 8.5 month program, really designed every week to unlock a part of the program that's going to help you reach your next level of evolution. So many people have shared with me that this is the program my inner girl needed. So it was first healing the inner child. And once I was able to do that and then take the messages to my community, they were that much more palpable. They were that much more powerful. And that is really the beauty of what this is, that we first and foremost get to shine the light on the young girl within. We need to teach her about all the things that we didn't have access to, right? We were raised in a different time, and all of those statistics that we speak of, the ones that I really didn't want to mention about mental health for young girls, about a girl's self-confidence peaking at age 8, about all of the eating disorders that we're seeing. This is the antidote to that. This is the answer to that. Us stepping into our power as girls empowerment coaches, choosing ourselves lovingly so that other girls can choose themselves. Well, that's the best way to pay it forward. That's the greatest gift that we have to give to our next generation. So I invite you, if this speaks to you, to set up a phone call with me, to get onto our career page, www.melodypourmoradi.com/career. Haley, if you can link that in the comments, that would be amazing. And you can go there and just learn a little bit more about what GiRLiFE is, about what the Academy provides, about who our community is, about what it would look like. Allow yourself to daydream and imagine what it would look like to wake up each morning with such purpose, with such excitement. I know that I myself used to be in a job that I would wake up every morning with dread and anxiety and discomfort. Because it was not a job that meant something to my heart, to my soul. It didn't speak to me. It didn't inspire me. But B, because I remember the work environment was so toxic. It was such an uncomfortable place to be. You feel so heavy when you're in environments like that. And again, in doing this work at GiRLiFE, I had to choose myself over and over again. I had to step away from the toxicity of certain jobs that were not fueling me and environments that were not elevating me, and choose to create my own environment. Like today, my environment is 200 GiRLiFE coaches who we've trained in our academy, who I speak to day in and day out, whether it's in a training or in the DMs, or we're discussing possibilities and partnerships. That's what I've created. That's what you all get to create for yourselves. Now, whether you choose to join the GiRLiFE Academy or not, I want you to know that in your life today, you have a choice. You get to choose what you tolerate, and you get to choose what you're no longer available for. And I had to make a decision that I was no longer available for putting myself in rooms of people who maybe didn't want the best for me, or maybe didn't even know that they didn't want the best for themselves. I needed to put myself in rooms where people were cheering me on and I was cheering them on. There was that mutual love, support, inspiration, right? That's the room you get to be in, where whatever room it is, whatever role you play in this world, whatever role you choose to play. And I want us to remember this word choice, It's actually what I just was teaching in our Empower Hour membership. So as the GiRLiFE Academy grows, so much of what we do grows as well. So right now, I am running a girls membership. It's virtual for girls ages 6 to 10. And it's my favorite time of the week is when I get to hang out with these girls. And I was just teaching them this week about making powerful choices, and how in everything that we do, we have a choice. The friends that we choose, the foods that we eat, right? The way that we start our day, the thoughts that we think. What a powerful thing it is to acknowledge the power of choice, And sometimes when we don't make a choice, The choice is chosen for us, and that's still a choice because we chose not to decide. So these are the high level concepts that we teach you to introduce to girls, but to put it in a palatable way, in a way that's fun and engaging and thought-provoking. At the beginning of every one of our sessions, we do a dance party. So we just like put on a song. I take a request from the girls. We put on an empowering song and we dance our hearts out. And that just starts things, like it starts the fun, right? So these girls are having a good time. They're learning in a safe environment with other girls who are there to do the same thing, right? And they just end up with this like-minded community of girls all across the globe who are learning about their superpowers. I mean, I just get so lit up just talking about it. But as a girls empowerment coach, there are so many things that you get to do. We've had so many of our coaches go on to become authors, speakers, keynote speakers. They've collaborated with other GiRLiFE coaches and done really epic things. Kara, who's on the line right now, and Luce just did a mother-daughter workshop for Mother's Day. I mean, like, it's just joyful. It's just joyful, the possibilities that exist for us when we step into this role. So do we have any questions for those of us who are live? Do we have any questions, any comments on the things that we've discussed today? I want to support you in the best way that I know how. If you're watching this on the replay, feel free to leave anything in the comments. I will be checking back periodically to make sure I'm answering all the questions. If you should decide that you want to take the next step, that you want to join us as a girls empowerment coach, or even that you just want to take the next step and have a one-on-one call with me and learn more and see if this opportunity is for you, by all means do that. All of the information is on the page that Haley linked, www.melodypourmoradi.com/career. That's where all the magic is. You're going to hear from our GiRLiFE coaches. You're going to learn about the earning potential of the GiRLiFE workshop, so that when you sign up, like, how do we turn this into a full-time career? You're going to learn about, I actually have a mock workshop available on that page where you actually see me running a workshop with the girls, which is super cool. It's just a cool place to be. Go there, you'll see all the information. Kara, thank you. Kara's saying step into your power, and she's saying Melody is there every step of the way. As Kara said, like, I am a part of this community. I'm the founder of the company, and I'm not going anywhere. Like, I do not disappear when you join the program. If anything, I lean in an even deeper way to make sure that we are all doing what we are here to do. Because at the end of the day, like, if you're in this space, I know that you've got girls empowerment on your heart. And I want to help you uncover all of the magic that is within you. And so it's a beautiful thing, because as GiRLiFE coaches, we meet on a Zoom call once every month. We set each of our coaches up with an accountability partner. We call it a Partner in Shine program, where they hold that space for each other to thrive. And of course, our Facebook group, it's an exclusive Facebook group just for the coaches. And we hang out in there, and we share celebrations, we share victories, we talk about challenges, we co-create ideas. It's just like the coolest thing ever. But really, truly, the greatest joy of all of this is when I hear about the results that our coaches are getting, when I hear about the testimonials that the parents are giving to our coaches, saying that my daughter was meditating because she was nervous and anxious, or my daughter told me that she uses her intuition to help her make her decisions. One of the most beautiful things happened with me, myself. Obviously my daughters grew up in this movement. Like, they were 7 when we started GiRLiFE. They used to sit here with me as participants in my workshops, and now they are literally my partners in this business. Like, when we run workshops, my daughter Noah is my partner in Empower Hour. She's there with me, talking to the girls, speaking to the girls about all the ways that they are magical and brilliant and powerful beyond measure. So it's an amazing thing to have seen them grow up in this way. But the other day I had a really important decision to make, and my daughter turned to me and she's like, Mom, what does your intuition tell you? And just those full circle moments where, like, even though sometimes you're like, are they getting it? Are they hearing what we're sharing? Are they hearing the messages that we so deeply want to impart on them? And in moments like that, it's full circle and you're like, yes, they hear us. These girls in our workshops, they breathe a different kind of air because we have said yes to ourselves and to our life purpose and our life mission. They get to experience a whole other way of living, and they become the women who no longer need to unbecome and unlearn, but instead they become those women who step right into their power, who don't make apologies for who they are. It's interesting. It's a story I debate whether I want to share or not, but I will. Recently, like, I was in a situation where I spoke my truth. I spoke it really, really passionately, on the borderline of like speaking it like in an angry way, but it was my truth, and I was speaking it unapologetically. And I was having a conversation with someone who I love very much, a man, not my husband. And I was sharing about that moment with him. I was sharing about what had happened and the way that I was speaking like unapologetically and speaking my truth. And he said to me, Melody, you don't have to apologize to me. And I looked at him and I was like, oh, sweetie, I am not apologizing to you. I'm just sharing my truth. I'm just sharing what actually happened. And it was just like one of those moments, like man, woman, like, and I was wondering, like, why was he expecting me to apologize? Why was he making an assumption that I was apologizing in that moment? That's not what was happening. And the things that happen are not like by accident, they're synchronistic. The things that happen are the callings that send me way deeper into this mission. And like, so when I talk about being unapologetic, I mean it. I mean it because for too often, men, the world, other women have expected us to be apologetic about who we are, and that when we speak our truth passionately, that there's something to feel sorry for. And I'm just here to say we are not here to say sorry. We are not, unless we've done something wrong, but we should not feel sorry for sharing our truth or being being real, because at the end of the day, isn't that what we want for all girls? So I'm going to leave you with that, beautiful people. I thank you so much for joining me here. I thank you so much for your comments, for your feedback, for feeling this on your hearts the way that I know that I feel it. To be a part of the Girl Life world, hang out with us right here in this Facebook group that you're already in. Check out my book, Empowered Women, Empower Girls. It is literally a key that unlocks our own empowerment so that we can take it to the next generation. Annette, I love to hear it. She says, I'm here to take my power back. I'm so holding that space for you. You've got this. Check out our Empowering Her podcast. It's on all the places where you listen to podcasts. And really, we have like almost 160 episodes where I bring in powerful guests, where I share powerful topics, and it's all free and it's all there for you to use and to learn from. And finally, if this is speaking to you and you want more of this and you're just like, get me in there, sign me up. How do I get out there and empower girls for a living? If this speaks to you, take the next step. Go to melodypourmoradi.com/career and just learn for yourself what it would look like to become a girls empowerment coach, to have a career that lights you up, that gets you out of bed with purpose and passion and excitement every single morning. A career that you don't have to apologize for, a career that that changes lives. Go to that page, melodypourmoradi.com/career, and we have a stack of bonuses worth $700 ready for you to take advantage of when you sign up now. Sending all my love to you. If you have any questions, reach out. You all mean the world to me. I will talk to you again soon. Bye.